We're going to be talking about discipline equals freedom, which is one of my favorite topics because it has made the biggest impact on my life, probably out of all of the things we're going to talk about. That what is hard in the right here and the right now, so that discipline makes our life easier in the long term. So like an example of that would be like, what's hard like right here and right now? Maybe it's that you're trying to get out of bed to go work out in the morning, right? And that's really hard in the right here and right now, but we know it's going to create freedom in the long term, because all day long, otherwise you'll be thinking, when am I going to work out? When am I going to squeeze that in? Or beating yourself up for not doing it. But you just get up, you have the discipline, you do it, and then you don't have to think about it the rest of the day. You have the freedom to think about all the other things in your life. So what's hard in the here and now creates ease in the long term. So committing to the discipline. And then what that takes is every day building on that discipline. So deciding, number one is going to be decide, like, what is your hard thing? And then decide what is the discipline that it's going to take to get to that. And whatever it is, you write it down, you commit to it, and then you take daily steps to that. A lot of this comes from Jocko Willink, and I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about him, but he's a Navy SEAL, and he's one of the most decorated leaders in the Iraq War. And he wrote a book called Discipline Equals Freedom. And he also wrote a book called Extreme Leadership that we're going to go over next. But one of his main ideas is that we never get to the end, right? So that we never get to, like, let's say at the end of this leadership training, it's not the end. I don't know about you, but if I don't have the next goal set in front of me, then I end up doing the same thing over and over. I'll slip back to where I was before. And then the next time I have this work, I get back to that same spot, and I'm going up and down and up and down. The only way to avoid that is to know that there is no end, that the end is the end of our life perhaps, but that there is no end before that. So always having your goal set out in front of you, and when you reach that, or before you reach that, knowing what your next goal is. So deciding is one, and then knowing that there is no end. I learned something, I don't remember which podcast I was listening to, but I heard something about AA, and something I struggled to understand was like, why do we always, people in AA say that once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic, but because, and when I heard this, it was like a big light bulb went on. It's because the slip-ups happen most often when people think they've got it mastered, or they think that they don't have to fight anymore. They don't have to conquer that anymore. And knowing that we're born to fight, right? We're born to fight, and that we're always in a war. Like, so the metaphor for life is like a war, and that every day we wake up and we decide, are we going to give in to the negative parts of ourselves, to the negativity in the world? Or are we going to be a fighter or a warrior for the good parts of ourselves, for spreading love, for committing to making the world a better place? Because it's not going to be easy. And we have to decide every day we're going to war. And whether you like it or not, that is already life, right? You're going to either get up and you're going to be on one side or the other. Are you going to spread negativity? Are you going to spread love? Are you going to spread positive energy? What is it that you're going to put out there in the world? What side of the battle are you going to be on? Commit to that, and then decide every day when you wake up, I'm committed. I'm going to be a warrior today to spread love, to make the world a better place, to make every person I come into contact with a little bit better for coming into contact with me. So making a decision, knowing that every day is going to be a battle. There is no easy way out, that we're here to fight, that we're in this together. So decide what your goal is, and then think about the steps you need to take every day. So whatever it is, maybe it's getting into shape, or you're helping other people to get into shape, to work out. Maybe it's meditation. I love this. For meditation with this is like having the commitment to every day, even if it's just a minute a day or 5 minutes a day, that you have the discipline, the daily discipline to sit, even though it's uncomfortable. Everyone, let me tell you right now, everyone when they first do it feels like that they're no good at it, right? It's like sitting down at a piano and expecting yourself to be able to play Beethoven, right? The first day you're going to do it, probably the first couple of years you do it, you're not going to be great at it, but knowing that that's your goal, and that every day it takes practice. And then eventually your mind slows down and the voice in your head quiets down, and you become more of a watcher of your life, and the parts of your brain that are like this, the fight or flight, become less active, and they can even see that on an MRI. So it's a really good example of this discipline in the here and now to sit through this fighting of your brain, even if it's just for a minute or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, to have the long-term benefit, the long-term freedom of your mind finally quieting down. And that does happen over time. One of my favorite quotes is from Richard Branson. They asked him, what's the secret to becoming more productive? And I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's the founder of Virgin Records, one of the most successful people in our society. And he said, work out. And least expected answer from him. But it was because he said, the reason that you work out is not physical at all, right? The reason that we push ourselves physically isn't physical at all. It's because the daily discipline teaches us to have discipline in every other part of our life. And when we feel like we have control over our body, we feel like we have control, and we do have control over the other things in our life. Really, the only thing we have true control over is the way we react to the things in our life, right? What's up here and what's in here. But we do have some control over our body. And when we get that control and we feel that discipline and we feel that success, every area of our life opens up and we realize that we do have an active role in our life. We don't feel like we're being jerked around by our life. So this week, I want you to think about what are some things that you can implement that are daily disciplines that are going to make a big impact on your life. So if you're not working out every day, I really encourage you, even if it's getting out of bed and doing 5 push-ups, remember, make it something you can do even on your worst day. And then if you don't have a meditation practice yet, I also encourage that. Maybe it's just a minute of when you open your eyes in the morning before you put your feet on the floor, that it's a minute of gratitude or a minute of silence or a minute of just observing your mind and what it's doing. But make a commitment every day, at least 1% better than you were the day before, and have that commitment, and then watch how that opens up all the other areas of your life. So decide, let's do at least one thing for our body, giving back to our body, one thing for our mind up here, and then start noticing what else can you do that'll move you closer to your goals every day. That'll be the discipline that you're doing right now. That'll give you the freedom to have the things, to do the things, to get the things that you want in the future. Okay, love you guys. I'll see you next week for Extreme Ownership. Yeah, yeah.